Hello and welcome to episode 32 of the Nerds at Large Gaming Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Darby Hallman.
I'm Jeff Mayo.
Jeff, how are you doing this week?
Pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing good. Gamecocks won.
Yeah, it's your birthday. Happy birthday.
Oh, yes, it is my birthday.
When we're recording this.
Thank you, Jeff. I am an old man. I am 22 years old.
Yeah.
Life is moving faster than I am, Jeff.
Yeah.
It does not feel right. But Jeff is very shortly going to be a really old man.
Yeah, 24. God. They're going to be those people listening to this that are older and be like, you guys
shut
suck.
up. Like, just shut up. That's like my entire family. Just shut up. Yeah. I don't know. It feels like I remember just even 20 feeling like so far away, and then now it's just kind of shot up and caught up with me very, 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 very fast. Yeah.
High school feels like forever ago for me.
It simultaneously feels like forever ago and like not forever ago at the same time. I don't know. It's getting old is weird. Yeah, getting older is weird. Well, before we get started with this podcast, I just want to do some housekeeping news.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't talk today, Jeff. You're gonna have to carry me through. I'm like,
oh no.
I trust you, Jeff. I recently just put out on our YouTube channel. It's just on the Nerds at Large. We're starting this new video series that I hope I'll do more versions of. It's called Nerd Out. It's just gonna be like me or Jeff or Will or anyone, just kind of analyzing and going deep into a specific topic that we want to nerd out about. Mm-hmm. For this first one, I did the Red Wedding from Game of Thrones. I focused more on the book perspective, but if you just watch the show, you can get the same basic thing out of it. So definitely go check that out. It's not perfect, but I kind of just wanted to get it out there so I could have it out there and improve from it. But I plan to just try to keep those going, keep those getting better. So I would appreciate it if you check that out. We also, since the last podcast, have posted a Let's Play. We had a Let's Play of Injustice 2, where me and Jeff played a lot of the DLC characters, and Jeff beat me pretty bad.
Yeah, that's a first, to be honest.
Yeah, he did very well, and
well.
I mean, well compared to for us.
Yeah.
We're both pretty terrible at fighting games. I think the title of the Let's Play is We Suck at Fighting Games, which is pretty, spot on for us.
It probably won't be the first time. That may actually be a series. Who knows?
That we suck at. Yeah. No, I definitely want to revisit Injustice 2. It's there's...
Well, it'll be out, if I remember the date right. I think Hellboy comes out tomorrow or Tuesday.
Nice. Awesome. And definitely there's some news later for some new characters coming out that I definitely want to play, and it would be awesome to record stuff.
I think Alex is here.
Before he gets here, we're going to try to do more Let's Plays, so definitely stay tuned for that on our YouTube channel, and hopefully also those will get better and better as we go. So look forward to those.
Indeed.
No, you just wait. All right, hey Jeff, welcome back.
Hi. Yes.
All right, so Jeff, have you played anything
Mario
interesting this year? Do you have anything new to report on Mario?
Progress report, which I assume you will do for Zelda.
Yeah.
Okay. Over 30 hours in. So, bring on away. 530 moons.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So I think last time you had a little over 100 or 200 or something like that. So
I think I was...
Or I can't remember what you had.
I think it was 350 or something. Maybe.
Okay.
Something like that.
How was the post game?
Pretty great. I'm having a good time just going through world by world and pretty much 100%ing them all.
Yeah. Have you 100%ed several of the worlds?
Yeah, pretty much. Or I think I said it last week. I might have one or two, one moon or so on some kingdoms because I think, I'm not 100% sure, some of those moons involve stuff in other kingdoms.
Okay.
Yeah. So... I'm just going to go step by step and just see.
But still, it's still a lot of fun getting them. Are the post-game moons more difficult or more interesting than the original ones?
The games that are definitely post-game, they're definitely some of the more difficult stuff, especially some of the platforming challenges.
Yeah.
Some of them, there are just, hey, moon sprung up in this random location.
Are there new areas within the worlds that are unlocked after you beat the game, or is it?
No, the closest thing to that is you play all this, you might know, like there, there might be like warp pipes or doors that take you places.
Yeah.
Once you activate or do the post game stuff, there'll be new pipes that appear.
Okay.
But there isn't like something like it's foggy in the area and the fog clears and you suddenly go in the area, something like that.
Okay.
There's none of that, which I'm okay with.
Yeah.
Because they don't add like it varies from each kingdom, but they don't add like a crazy amount of moons post game because there's still a lot that odds are you have not gotten.
Right.
So.
Yeah. It just adds like a few to each world. Like,
Yeah, it vary. Like one of them was like 5. Another one I think was like 25. Stuff like that. Again, it varies.
But yeah, I mean, chances are, unless you are just a completionist, when you beat the main story, you're gonna have a lot of moons to still go back to. Mm-hmm. Yeah, unless you just want to finish every world as you go, which I probably won't do that. I'll probably get a lot of them, but I probably won't completely.
You can't 100% every kingdom as you go. I'll say that straight up.
Okay.
Because again, like I said, some of them involves later kingdoms and stuff. Okay. So you can't.
Yeah. I have to ask, just as you continue to progress more and more, you don't have to go into it, but how is this looking? Game of the Year versus Breath of the Wild. I mean, sometime by the end of the year or by late January, you're gonna have to make a decision.
I know.
What are you leaning towards, or do you have a leaning?
I don't know. That was just so good, man.
Fine, Jeff can just flake out on that.
I mean, part of it is there's some. Okay, this isn't should be there. Okay.
Is it mild spoilers? Is that what you're trying to say?
Kind of, sorta,
right.
But it's not really surprising.
Very, very mild spoiler.
There are some kingdoms that are specifically post game.
Okay.
I haven't really hit those yet.
Okay.
So that could bump Mario up or whatever, and then part of me is wanting to play more to make sure it's like as far as Mario goes, not like a recency thing. That's the most recent one I played.
Right.
Type thing, but. Yeah. I can say definitively, like, these are my top 2 games of the year, like, by far.
Yeah. Well, I've played like only Zelda this week, but I played a good bit. I now have done 2 of the Divine Beast, which there are 4 of. That's kind of, from what I can see, some of the big plot points to gauge how far you are.
Well, but how many shrines have you done?
I think like 32, something like that.
You got a lot more of those to go.
I do. I was just doing like basically only shrines for a long time. This week I've kind of taken a break from shrine hunting so much and kind of went and did the Zora storyline, the Goron, I kind of like did that kind of stuff, like the more of the main quest things.
Probably do things a little different than I did.
And I'm probably going to go back. I mean, I'm kind of like switching it up. I'll like hunt for shrines for a while, and then when I get tired of that, I'll go do something else.
Since you know where all the Divine Beasts is, where I pretty much is, and they had the map section out.
Yeah.
What I did is I went to a section, did everything I could without really just tried to go everywhere, do everything I could, and move on.
Okay, I'm kind of just dabbling here, dabbling there.
Trying to make sure not to go across the borders of each area unless there's a shrine. Like, literally right at the edge of the border to the next one, which will just make it easier for me fast traveling to
that's part of what I love about this game is you can take it in such a systematic way that you're doing. Like, I'm going to do everything in here and then move on to the next. And you can also do it like I'm doing. And, like, to me, I'm just trying to keep it fresh for me. Yeah. So when I'm in one area for a really long time, like, I felt like I was in the Goron area a really long time, and I kind of got just tired of that scenery and stuff. So I'm like, I'm going to go back and explore this area some more. And
I just realized this one area... One thing I really want to hear your opinion on.
Okay.
I'm not going to say what it is, of course. But considering the path you're taking, there is a chance you could hit it. Or you could already hit it.
I've also, like, the way I play this, I've definitely reached some, like, faraway areas that me telling you, like, Divine Beast I got and stuff, you probably wouldn't have expected that I would have reached certain areas, because I will, in this game, sometimes I'll just play it and I'll just walk in a direction and I'll just go and find things. And next thing I know, I'm in, like, the far end of the map, like, way deep into territory that I have not unlocked the, like, map of, and I'm just like, where am I? Like, I love doing that. I love getting lost in that game.
I looked at the Switch. It's easy to look this stuff up. How long you played? You played for over 45 hours to this point.
That snuck up.
Well, now I can take the question you asked me back to you, Dari. Is this your game of the year? How do you think this is?
Well, I have not played. I've not played like anything more than like a few hours of Mario, and like a few hours means like 2 hours. Yeah,
Well, I mean, compared to like Horizon and stuff.
yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not comparing like Zelda and Mario.
yeah, of course.
This is definitively my game of the year right now. I love Horizon so much, and I really legitimately could totally see how someone could like Horizon more than Zelda. I think it could be a preference thing because they're
both open world things, but they're like what they try to do is completely different. And that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, in some ways it's similar, but like if you were someone who like really, 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 really cares about like getting a really awesome story, Horizon is superior in the story department and stuff, and I can totally see Horizon is definitely number 2, and I want to like praise that game. I don't want to like put that game down, but Zelda, there's something just magical about Zelda. There's something I haven't experienced in the game in so long. I mean, it's like being a kid again, like. And wanting to explore these different
Zelda
things.
Nerds at Large Game of the Year 2017 confirmed.
Yeah,
Depending how you feel about Mario.
Yeah,
I guess
if I get to Mario and just I have a feeling I'm not going to go in there like like with this attitude like weighing it down or anything, but I have a feeling Zelda's going to be more my speed than Mario. Not that I'm sure I'll love Mario, but Zelda seems like the perfect game for me, and I just love that setting so much and everything.
They're both just like top games all the time for me, so it's hard to compare.
I really I'm going to be excited to look back at this game and see how it compares, but like it's going to be up there and with top games ever. I don't want to say it so much while I'm in the middle of while it has its claws.
I did the same thing. I was like at the end I was like, okay, I feel comfortable saying it now.
But 45 hours in, it's definitively my game of the year and probably game of the last few years. I mean,
I'm happy to
Breath of the Wild and Witcher 3. Those 2 games are just kind of like game changers for me. So, yeah. All right, Jeff, well, are you ready to get into the news?
Yep.
News jingle?
Jingle, jingle, jangle.
All right, Jeff, let's do it.
Okay. Okay, first thing. This comes from Seth G. Macy from IGN. Expect a little more reading throughout this podcast. It's some very important stuff. Lots of details. Okay. Respawn Entertainment, the studio behind the Titanfall franchise, is being bought by EA. Both companies are already working together on several projects, including a VR game, a Star Wars game, and a new title in the Titanfall franchise. EA announced the acquisition, saying the move builds on a successful publishing partnership already in place between the two companies. Respawn CEO Vince Zampella said the move brings the resources and support his company needs for its long-term success. And he said of the acquisition as well, we're excited to combine our strengths. In a statement on Respawn's site, Zampella said there will be no layoffs or major organization changes at Respawn. Good to hear that. And games currently in development are continuing as planned. EA is paying $151 million up front for Respawn, with $164 million in long-term equity paid out for the next 4 years. There's also a long-term consideration worth a maximum $140 million.
A lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
This is, I mean, like, it kind of course, there's been, like, lots of negative press and lots of negative feelings, kind of deservedly so, for some things with EA recently. Yeah. So obviously the instant, like, catchy reaction to this would be, being angry or being sad or being mad about this, about EA. Everyone loved Titanfall 2, or everyone who played it, it was critically well received. To see that fall into EA and everything, but honestly, with the way that Titanfall 2 obviously didn't sell well commercially, and it was, it was in development for a while, and it kind of was a letdown sales-wise, I have a feeling this is probably one of the only ways we're getting new Titanfall. Yeah,
plus, I'm going to be perfectly honest, sometimes I forget Respawn wasn't a part of EA, considering they published Titanfall 1 and 2.
Right. I mean, I think when Respawn started, that was a big point of theirs of being independent like that. So that's the thing that's kind of sad about this, is that now, obviously that's not a thing anymore. Mm-hmm. But I would hope that that there would be some agreement there that they still get some like independence in the like creative process. Because obviously they made a good game with Titanfall 2. I think it just released at an awful time. Like, that was right next to Battlefield 1. That was a whole big thing where we said that was such a stupid decision to release it then. And, I would hope that EA would kind of leave them to their own devices.
I feel like at least if that's going to happen, it'll be a little bit because they're already working on games, and from this statement and stuff, they're not changing their plans or anything. It's like, okay, we're going to keep on going. This is just more, hey, Respawn has more money.
Yeah, the company should change. So hopefully all this really means is more money.
And I completely forgot Respawn's working on a Star Wars game.
Yeah.
Apparently they're trying as action adventure, I think I saw, so.
So it'll be closed down soon, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
I don't know. I don't think this is necessarily horrible news. It's just if EA gets too involved with it like they do in some other things and try to dictate what's going on too much, that's when it could get bad. So it's just kind of a wait and see thing.
I agree.
Think,
Okay, next story goes from Michael McWhorter from Polygon. Telltale Games, the studio behind episodic series based on Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, and Minecraft, among others, of course, is laying off 25% of its workforce. The company announced a restructuring which will affect 90 employees in a news release. In a statement, Telltale said the decision to lay off staff is designed to make the company, quote, more competitive as a developer and publisher of groundbreaking story-driven gaming experiences with an emphasis on high quality in the years ahead, end quote. Telltale Games CEO Pete Hawley said in a statement, quote, our industry has shifted in tremendous ways over the past few years. The realities of the environment we face moving forward demand we evolve as well, reorienting our organization with focus on delivering fewer, better games with a smaller team, end quote. The restructuring is not expected to impact the release of any of the company's previously announced projects, Telltale said. Telltale also said its plans to move its internal development over to more proven technologies that will fast-track innovation in its core products. The developer didn't specify which technology it will be pursuing, but Telltale has received criticism for the technical performance of its products for years. Yeah, that's more than... Yeah, there was a lot there for different reasons. The layoffs, their plans going forward, and the technology stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons, and I don't know about you, but I kind of feel like this was a long time coming.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously, the layoff part is really sad and everything.
Sucks.
It really sucks for people to lose their job. Like we've said, I feel like we're saying this every week at this point. There's some big studios getting closed down. That sucks. But I think we've all known Telltale has bloated out way too big in recent years, and maybe it was working for them at the start to like have all these licenses, and they were still, it was a hot thing after like Walking Dead and everything. Telltale was still a novel concept, but at this point, like, the engine has been bad for so long. The games have been buggy for so long. It's hard to excuse it anymore. And I don't have obviously I don't have sales data, but I pay attention to this stuff, and I have not seen anyone talk about Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yep.
It pretty much seems like that probably flopped, and I can't even begin to imagine how much they probably paid for the Guardians of the Galaxy license. So that was probably a big loss.
Yeah, just going back to the whole technical aspect of it, the being buggy. When Telltale started, they were about pretty much the only ones doing this, or very few. We're getting more of these kind of games that run better and look better.
They're getting beaten at what they do. Yeah, they were the pioneers of it, but at this point, they have not changed in so long.
I guess it's still the buggy thing, but at least for Minecraft, there's a reason for how it looks.
Yeah. And I don't completely fault them. Ride the train as long as it'll go. They didn't have to.
Well, we're getting to the point where the train.
Exactly. So I think that slowing down, doing less projects, but putting more of an effort on making them run like a real video game should in 2017 is probably going to be a good direction for Telltale.
I'm sorry, I don't know if it was in what I just read, but I think it's important to note they did. Wait. Okay, they said it. Making sure people know this doesn't affect the games that are already announced.
Yeah. But in the future, you probably won't see the running joke of there's Telltale works on 20 games at once.
Yeah.
And that's unsustainable, especially as the industry is kind of moving past them, and their games look more and more dated as time goes on. So it's a good move. I think that they could they could stay alive by making this choice. Obviously, the bad side of it is they must have had a big team to be working on that many games, and obviously, if you're going to downsize this, you have to downsize staff too. So
before this, 360 employees, I assume, since 90 employees.
Right.
Yeah. So it was just how many people are on each team and stuff normally. But
I hope those people can find
I'm
work.
sure they can.
They're good writers.
Yeah.
Telltale games are
there's
definitely
also
great, well written, and it's I'm not saying that's the only thing, but writers I think from Telltale could be, that's a good resume.
We're getting some more of these games out there, so people who are used to making these kind of games should be able to find jobs.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Next story, better news. This comes from Joe Scrabbles from IGN. After a new ballot, SAG-AFTRA has voted overwhelmingly to end the year-long video game voice actors strike. In September, a tentative agreement was made with all 11 affected publishers to bring the strike to an end after publishers agreed to bonus payments, more transparent contracts, and a means to combat vocal stress. Keith Farley, chair of SAG-AFTRA Interactive Negotiating Committee, said, "The bonus payments we asked for are now part of the video game industry and are a base from which to build upon. I'm excited for all that we have achieved." End quote. The new agreement becomes effective today, this past week, so it's going now, and will expire on November 7th, 2020. The strike has resulted in many non-union voice actors taking on roles. Perhaps most notably, Ashley Birch did not reprise her starring role as Chloe in Life is Strange prequel Before the Storm. Today marks the end of the longest actor strike in U.S. history.
So, obviously, especially from a gamer's perspective, this is good.
Yeah.
We can finally stop having, the effects of this.
I feel like we didn't, especially, it was a year we didn't exactly feel the effects of it because there was a whole thing, if you were already contracted, you could do it. I feel like we're still going to feel the effects, at least for some games coming out in the next year or two.
We are, yeah.
Because the games that these people would have been in but aren't because of this will be coming out.
I feel like Life is Strange was the first big one, and that's the one that everyone goes to because
it's easier to make.
It's the most obvious one. But I have a feeling, there's going to be some other big games that we see that. I mean, like you notice it more when it's someone who should have been reprising their role. Obviously,
if it's just like a new IP or a new game with different characters, how are we supposed to know?
Yeah, you would, and then you would, and for the most part, it seems like a lot of the problems that they were addressing were addressed and everything. Like maybe not to the level that they necessarily wanted, but
all these things you go high so you can get somewhere in the middle.
Exactly. And I think it's a good thing. It's definitely like the thing that I'm keeping my eye on going forward is I think it's probably inevitable that we're going to see a union for game developers. Yeah. And that's kind of been a big talk after the voice actor thing because there was almost kind of a growing divide between voice actors are like demanding all these things, whatever, but then game developers are saying, we have it hard, almost harder and everything, but the union, the voice actor union is able to fight for those things, whereas the game developers don't have a union to fight for them. And I think, and as we might end up talking about later with Jason's article, Jason Schreier had an article talking about crunch with video game developers and stuff. And this type of thing, there's a lot of things and a lot of problems that game developers are facing that to me it almost seems inevitable it's gonna be solved or someone's gonna try to solve this with a union.
I agree.
I think that comes with goods and bad, but I'm interested.
Yeah,
I think it's coming. I think it's
I agree. We will definitely talk about that when the time comes.
Yeah.
Okay, next thing, just some interesting news. A new Hitman game is in development.
Yes.
What a coincidence. I just bought Hitman.
Yeah, Jeff, one of us finally got Hitman. We've been talking about basically this entire podcast.
I saw it on sale. I was like, okay. And a couple tidbits. The studio IO Interactive promises exciting new features in some franchise firsts. Whatever that means. It'll be interesting to see.
Yes.
And they also said we will not hear anything about the game until sometime.
And also, if people don't know, IO is not part of Square Enix anymore.
Yeah. Or wait, I can't remember. They were a part of Square Enix technically, or they were just a studio Square Enix used.
I thought that the story was that Square Enix owned them and they let them go.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Because I remember there was the whole thing of does IO have the Hitman name, and they got it. They were able to keep it. And it was kind of a question of are they gonna be okay? Is this gonna? Yeah.
I mean, we talked about it before. I I can't remember if there are any updates about it. Someone can help them publish it for sure. Like I feel like someone they could easily go the crowdfunding route.
And I think I think there's an audience out there that I think they could definitely
people would trust them to do this, and I mean we've seen what they can do with this.
Until they prove us wrong, I mean, like IO seems to have a very good head on their shoulders. Like I feel like a lot of studios would have like crumbled under all this and losing the Square Enix funding and all that. But I'm glad to see that they're already like developing more Hitman, and I'm excited to see what in them independent. Like I don't know if Square Enix was really like holding them back or anything, but it'll be interesting to see like they get all the creative control. Like,
they do whatever they want. Again, then exciting new features in the franchise first. I'm interested to see what that means.
Yeah, especially when you play this and you'll be able to talk more. Of course,
you can borrow it at some point.
Yeah.
Fun.
Definitely. How much did you get it for? What was the sale?
$25.
Was that Best Buy type thing? Or?
I got a GameStop.
Okay.
I was in there. It's like, just happened to be in there. I saw that. It's like, screw it.
That's not bad.
Because a lot of the Black Friday deals are out.
Yeah.
And Hitman's not on any of them that I saw.
Okay.
So I'm like, well,
that sounds about what it probably would have been on Black Friday. Anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm guessing it's the full thing, right? It's the full season one. Yeah.
I got to pay money if I want the extra stuff that they did.
The very new stuff they just announced. Yeah.
But if I got that, it'd still be cheaper than me getting the new Game of the Year, whatever edition, complete edition.
Okay.
So
yeah,
that's whatever. And of course, see if I get enough out of there. See if I want that extra stuff anyway. So let's see. I'm excited.
Everything seems very good. I'm very interested to see what you say about it whenever you get to play it.
Yeah. There's more. I'm just getting the habit thing. Okay. Yeah. So let's move on. This comes from Joe Scrabble from IGN. CD Projekt Red still isn't planning to make it Witcher 4, but that doesn't mean it won't make games set in the same universe. Speaking to Strefa Inwestero, and translated by IGN in Poland, CJ Projekt CEO Adam Kaczynski explained that while the company sees Geralt's Witcher trilogy as definitively finished, the company still owns the IP. Kaczynski says the company will probably return to the world of The Witcher because both fans and investors would be disappointed if it didn't. Presumably...
and Darby.
Yeah. Well, fans. Darby. That presumably means games set around different characters or in different time periods, although Kaczynski didn't go into any more detail. Okay, question real quick. Have you listened to the Easy Allies podcast from this past week?
I'm almost done with it.
Okay, so you heard about the stuff from the lawyer, right?
Yeah. I was in. I'm going to condense this down. I was in my car. The window's busted. There's wind coming through it. I couldn't hear that part particularly well.
I think you should go listen back again because when I read this and after hearing that the whole investors thing, I don't know, I looked at it a little differently.
Right. What did they say?
They pretty much the guy said, and I encourage anyone listening to this to go listen to the Easy Allies in general, but this particular section if you're interested. He talked about as far as the investors thing, like companies have to do the stuff with the investors, like to make the investors happy. Yeah, like it's kind of the law thing. So he kind of said something pretty much that's why we might be seeing more microtransactions, if I'm remembering it correctly. Because they make people more money.
Okay, I do remember that part. They were saying it's almost like it's because those things are making so much money. It's almost your legal responsibility to do them to bring more money.
And that's why Nintendo get away with single player games because that's what makes them money.
Like if the investors see that you have a game that could have microtransactions
that can make them more money,
and you're not doing it, it's almost like you're taking money. You're holding back on money that could be coming to the company. I did hear that part. That is it's an interesting look at it that I've never thought about before.
Yeah. So when I read this thing, I looked at it a little differently. The investor thing. The invest thing stuck out to me more.
I'm sorry. What was the word?
I can't remember. It lost me.
It was a very interesting word.
Yeah.
But what did they talk about this when they're referring to The Witcher? They're just saying that's why they're coming out.
They're saying they'll probably go back to the world of The Witcher because both fans and investors would be disappointed if they didn't. Fans, of course, would like more Witcher games. The investors are like, hey, this makes money.
This made so much money. Yeah. It's actually kind of it's actually kind of a miracle. I mean, don't get me wrong. Me personally, I would rather have more Witcher than Cyberpunk because I'm just more interested in the Witcher world. But CD Projekt wants to do Cyberpunk, and it's kind of cool that they're getting to do a new IP, even though it seems like, you know, if investors had total control, they'd probably just be like, keep making Witcher because it's selling. Yeah. But that being said, just from a fan perspective of like, what does this mean? Obviously, like you don't like this won't mean anything to you, but the obvious thing is Ciri. Ciri is basically Gerald's daughter, who's not really his daughter, but like a secondary. Like she's.
That a spoiler, Darby?
Huh?
That a spoiler?
No.
Okay.
It's not a spoiler. It's like it is something that if you go into The Witcher 3, they're gonna assume you already knew.
Okay.
So
I didn't know that was a twist.
It's not. It's not. I think it might have been a twist in the book, or it's a twist in the book. So I guess I spoiled the books. I'm sorry. I spoiled one part of the books that's kind of obvious. Anyway, which I need to finish those books. Anyway, to me, it's very obvious. She would be the one that you would go to.
What about Yennefer?
Yeah, she could too.
That's just the name I saw people pop.
She'll probably be in it no matter what. But Ciri is you even play as Ciri in parts of Witcher 3.
Oh, okay.
So she's the obvious if they're going to go to another protagonist. But they could potentially do something with their own character or something like that. I mean, the world is very rich and big, and there's a lot.
That's my understanding of Witcher. The games are a sequel in quotes to the books.
Yeah.
So I guess they can do more of their own thing, I guess, if they did a new character.
Yeah, I mean, the Witcher games are already, especially by Witcher 3, they're kind of just making their own story anyway. Yeah. It's set in the same world as the novels, but they're pretty much... So it's not like they would be new to making their own story with this. That's the positive. That's the like optimistic look at this. Mm-hmm. The pessimistic look at this is like, we're just going to keep supporting Gwent. And that's what they mean by more Witcher content. And like that kind of smaller thing.
Okay, I'm gonna go say no because that would not make people happy. That would make. I mean, they can do both though. That's.
It's good, but you want more Witcher.
Okay, I said Gwent will make the investors happy.
Yeah. I wonder if they would. I wonder if they would ever consider like giving the rights away if they just actively do not want to make any more Witcher, because it kind of seems like just tangent. It just seems like CD Projekt's kind of ready to move on from it.
Yeah.
So it would be. I don't know. It'd be interesting.
I feel it would be one of those things they're going to keep. Keep the IP just in case they want to make something, or they feel like they need to.
But they could let someone else make a game under it while they still own it.
Or if they get a good enough deal, be like,
they could.
Here you go.
Yeah. I mean,
that's what Microsoft needs to do, duh.
I could see them parting with it, but also having that IP is a good safety blanket.
Yeah.
If something goes south with Cyberpunk, they could always go back to this well. So
I mean, since we just kind of talked about it to a much lesser extent, IO interacted with Hitman once they decide to do something else.
Yeah.
Try a different IP. You always have Hitman, which
to fall back on.
Obviously not Witcher levels, but that's something that has its fan base, especially after this last game.
It'd be interesting. I'm totally down to have more Witcher.
Yep. Okay.
Totally
Moving on. We have two Take-Two stories. Let's get ready for the first one. This comes from Alex Raro from Gamasutra.
Waro.
Yeah. In a conference call with investors, Take-Two Interactive Chairman and CEO Strauss Zelnick made it clear that, at least for Take-Two, the game industry is now about current consumer spending rather than game sales. Quote, the business once upon a time was a big chunky opportunity to engage for tens of hours or perhaps 100 hours. He said, that has turned into ongoing engagement day after day, week after week. You fall in love with these titles and they become part of your daily life. We've said that we aim to have recurrent consumer spending opportunities for every title that we put out at this company. It may not always be in an online model. It probably won't always be a virtual currency model, but there will be some ability to engage in an ongoing basis with our titles after release across the board. And so that's a sea of change in our business. Recurrent consumer spending is 42% of our net bookings in this last quarter. It's been transformative for us. So going more the trend of, hey, everyone's going to microtransactions.
Yeah, and this is kind of just being more like upfront about it and just very like...
Get ready for Red Dead Redemption 2 microtransactions.
Yeah.
And Borderlands.
Jeff, I'm trying so hard to like not be on the overreaction side and try to like give a chance with this, but like
I mean, just for my taste, all this stuff is just a negative for me.
It is, and there's ways to do it where it's not so intrusive. But the thing is, it's moving so fast, and so many companies are doing this, and it's making so much money. They're gonna wear it out into the point where it hits a wall, and like it's gonna get worse before it gets better, and that's the problem. Like, I mean, like as a concept, I don't think loot boxes are inherently awful. They're never good. Loot boxes are never a plus, like, or microtransactions are never a plus. I mean, more specifically, just like in-game purchases like that. But there's a way to do it right, but like there's no way you can trust companies who are making this much money on it to stay good on them forever.
Yeah.
And they're already starting not to.
Okay, I think I made this point last week or mentioned it. My thoughts about this: if every developer, like all the developers that have been talking about doing this, the big ones, like do this for most, if not all their games, and stuff like. How will it change the game industry? Because then I feel like less games will actually be sold, but I know they'll make it up with these microtransactions some way. But not every game can do that.
We're gonna see what's gonna happen because it's happening. I mean, like you even see. In fact, this is a news story I think we might have forgotten to put on here. But Housemarque this week, the makers of Resogun and like all those arcade games. They came out and said, we're the pioneers of this. We know we make amazing arcade-style games. We even have great Metacritic. Like, we know we are the best of the best with this, but even we are failing. Like, even we aren't selling well. And they said the gaming industry is moving towards, like, I'm just summarizing what I remember them saying. They basically said the gaming industry is moving towards that games as a service model where, you, like, you get them, like, a community around who will continue to pay you money. And they said that's the way the game industry is going, and that's the way that we have to move with the gaming industry. So even companies like Housemarque are going in that direction. Yeah. So we're going to see this. I mean, like,
I know.
It's EA has almost straight up said they're done with single player only like games like this. So it's happening.
Yeah.
And really, like, the more you think about it, there's not that many. As far as the big names, they are holdouts on this. Like, Bethesda is the only one I can think of, and see how it's treating them. Prey, undersold. Wolfenstein 2, undersold. Dishonored.
Evil Within 2.
Dishonored. Evil Within. All of these games.
It's fun stuff for people to know. Wolfenstein, Evil Within 2 will be $25 during Black Friday. $25 during Black Friday.
Yeah, so get those. And I don't, like... And I'm worried that just all these holdouts are going to be, like... Basically, we're going to force their hand. They're going to be forced to go into this model because that's how you make money in the gaming industry right now.
Again, but this is my stand. I don't think we're going to do the apocalypse, like, as far as, people overreacting to the thing. We're not... Single-player games are done.
No.
Like, we look at this past year, we've had, Nintendo. Like, we had Horizon, like, and Sony has a whole bunch of single-player first-party games coming out.
Yeah.
That people are excited about, and we've had successes that are smaller, like Nier and Persona and stuff.
But kind of the difference, and I think that Easy Allies touched on this too, kind of the difference with those, like, first-party, like, big games like that, is they're putting them out there knowing it's a loss. It's already exclusive, so they're missing out on so many sales they would get if it was multi-platform and stuff. They're already knowing it's a loss, but it's kind of a system seller. Mm-hmm. So, like, they're going out there, like, Naughty Dog is able to do what Naughty Dog wants, and it doesn't matter. They don't need to put in microtransactions because, like, Sony knows that it'll sell enough right there, and Naughty Dog games will get people to buy PS4s. So it kind of doesn't matter. And it's kind of the same thing with even Horizon or like God of War and stuff. But when it's like these third-party companies that, they need to make money. It's not like they're selling a game so that people will buy their hardware system, their game system. That's not the case. They need they need to make money off the games. So it's different. But I also, I do not think it's going to be an apocalypse thing like that single-player games are done. In fact, I see whether it's next year or the year after or whatever, whenever this hits a brick wall, it's kind of going to be an opening for someone to say, hey, remember how games used to be when all this crap wasn't going on? How about this? And it might be a resurgence.
Or it might be, even before it hits the wall, opportunity for people making single-player games to stand out.
Yeah. I almost feel like Bethesda could have been that, but I feel like these single-player games are coming out at the worst time because it's coming out right in the middle of all.
I
this.
feel bad.
If these games that we listed were coming out next year, it might be completely different because the loot box thing craze might already be over by then.
Yeah, I feel bad because I know maybe I haven't bought any of these games. I'm interested in them in some way, but all these games, by all accounts, are great.
Yeah. I mean, and there's the whole vote with your wallet thing or whatever, but at some point you are just a guy, a dude or girl with not much money if you're our case in college or whatever. You can't buy, you can't spend all this money buying games just to send messages. It's just, at some point, you can't control everything. But at the same time, it sucks. It really does,
I really don't want Nintendo to go down that route.
But honestly, I didn't do it on purpose. But I mean, look at the games that even I bought this year. I mean, like Zelda and Mario and Persona 5. All these. I mean, like I haven't been buying these crazy microtransaction games. I mean, not because I'm trying to send a message, but because they don't speak to me as much. And like Star Wars Battlefront was on the chopping block for me. Like I'm not buying that anymore because Zelda and the Switch and all these other things appealed to me more. Yeah.
Well, and you learned more, and you were like, eh.
Yeah. That's it.
Oh yeah. Apparently, you need to be up to level 40 to get a hero or something, or play 40 hours before you get a hero.
Jeez.
I saw that somewhere.
Like
I'm sorry, that's
to
fake
play
news.
as a hero or something.
Yeah, or something, or get it, or unlock them, or something.
That seems insane.
I'm sorry, that's fake. Hashtag news.
Fake news. Yeah, I don't know. Do you have anything more? I think that was a good discussion. But.
Yeah. I think we can stop it there because microtransactions is probably going to be in next week's thing. It's going to probably...
When you run a gaming podcast now, it's basically a weekly discussion.
Yeah. Okay. Next thing, again, another Take-Two story. This comes from Corrigan from IGN. Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick said in a statement as part of the earnings report, quote, "Looking ahead, we expect fiscal 2019 to be a record year of net bookings and net cash provided by operating activities led by the upcoming launch of Rockstar Games' Red Dead Redemption 2 and a highly anticipated new title for one of 2K's biggest franchises," end quote. And just so people know, fiscal year 2019 would fall between April 1st, 2018 and March 31st, 2019.
All right, Jeff, call it right now. Is this Borderlands, BioShock, or something else?
Borderlands. Because they already shown off that.
Have they already showed off
they showed a little something from it, didn't they? Am I crazy?
I remember us talking. I remember that was one of my predictions for E3, but I don't remember.
I swore they showed
Maybe they did a long time ago, and I just don't remember.
I swore they did that. Let me think.
I also think that they're referring to Borderlands. I think that's the obvious one.
Yeah, they teased it at some point.
Is it? Do you know?
Oh, they did it. At GDC did an Unreal Engine tech demo of Borderlands 3.
Okay.
Like in March. My money be on that.
Yeah. Do you know? Like, I don't know if you know. Is it the same team that made Battleborn making this, or are they different teams? Is Gearbox and two different teams making?
I don't know how Gearbox operates for its teams.
Yeah, because that would be interesting. If it is two different teams, then Borderlands 3 has probably been in development ever since the pre-sequel, which was a long time ago. If it's the same team, or they might just share people, it might not be. I don't know, but I imagine they probably at least have two different teams. They might share people with them.
Yeah.
They Borderlands 3 has probably been in development for a while. I would assume.
They have a lot of stuff that comes. Yeah, I would say they have multiple teams looking at just their game thing.
Well, do you?
Oh yeah, they do. We Happy Few.
Oh, they do.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, I forgot about that.
Oh wait, no, they're publishing it.
Interesting. Do you think there is a BioShock game in any sort of development, whether it's pre-planning or anything? Do you think that's happening?
I don't know. I'd probably lean towards it now.
I think it is. I think BioShock is too big.
Yeah.
I think someone at 2K, some developer, obviously, it's not like Ken Levine's not on it anymore or anything, but I think someone has to be at least working out concepts for a BioShock.
Well, I'll put it this
BioShock is the type of thing it wouldn't totally surprise me if next E3 or some event next year it just kind of comes out of nowhere and they're like boom.
Well, yeah, potentially. But I put more of my money in between Borderlands and BioShock as far as the game he's talking about here.
Here they're talking about Borderlands. I think BioShock would be way further in the future.
I feel like you can't out BioShock they could and then immediately come out and see that. Especially since we've had hints at Borderlands 3 already.
Right.
So that's where I land on that.
Yeah, I agree.
This will be a subject for another day, but interested to see if this is, since that's what we just said, how's microtransactions going to be involved in Borderlands and Bioshock?
Yeah, they did say with basically all future titles. Yeah. God, no. Can we not, Jeff?
This is the era we live in.
We are I think I'm borrowing this I think this was like a kind of funny title, but like we are losing the microtransaction war.
Hey,
like,
we're bad businessmen. We keep on talking about other podcasts.
We are. We're like keep promoting. Like, why are you even listening? I just go listen to them. Damn it. I'm sorry, Greg.
I literally tell people earlier, it's like, go listen to the Easy Allies.
Pause this podcast, go listen.
Yeah.
Maybe come back.
Okay.
No, just listen to us and you can get the leftover scraps that we took from them.
The important deets. Okay, you're going to move on.
I am.
This comes from Christopher Palmieri from Bloomberg. Electronic Arts Incorporated Chief Executive Officer Andrew Wilson, that's the title, said there may soon come a time when the video game publisher doesn't release a new annual version of hits such as FIFA 18 and Madden NFL 18 and relies instead on online updates or subscriptions. Quote, there's a world where it gets easier and easier to move that code around, where we may not have to do an annual release. We can really think about those games as a 365-day live service.
This is obviously something people have been talking about for years and years and years.
I didn't post it because the article is really long, but he mentioned like the Madden app on phones and stuff, like how that's literally the way that they update it yearly.
Yeah.
So
I mean, this has been a lot. This has been another thing that I think we all knew was coming. I assumed it was going to come a lot sooner, but it's just obviously you're going to keep making them year after year while they're still selling well. Yeah. But I do think it's interesting to hear them say it, to hear them like acknowledge that might be a thing they do in the future.
Thinking about it, strangely enough, I doubt I'd get it, but this would increase my chance of actually.
I mean, this would be a pro-consumer move.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
I mean,
have those fancy microtransactions, but don't go too crazy so it supports it year after year, because obviously that'd be where they're going with it.
As it stands right now, it's been one of those things. It sells so that they get away with it, but I think we all know that if you're paying $60 if you pay $60 for like every Madden every year, you're not really getting your money's worth, because the games don't change that much.
Yeah.
There's a new roster, but it's really probably not worth your $60.
Maybe slightly better graphics.
Yeah.
And they have the story mode, which I think I heard was pretty good for the last game.
That was the first big new thing that you got was in this last one.
Okay, yeah. Do as a service, updated every year. And if the story thing's successful, do that as like some paid DLC every year, maybe.
Yeah. Just something you could probably in their DLC and other add-on things that are not as expensive. It's probably going to be one of those things where it makes people feel like they're saving money when they're actually not, because they're.
That's microtransactions in general.
Exactly. But this is a type of, I guess, it's not even micro, really, if it's like a big pack of players every year. But this is one I can actually get behind, because I feel like it could be a pro-consumer move if it was done right. Mm-hmm. I mean, they probably won't do this until Madden stops selling so well every year. But
So, never. Okay, let's move on. This comes from Oscar Diaz from GameSpot. In an investor's call, Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot stated the company believes the next major consoles are a minimum of 2 years away. Quote, as Sony launched PlayStation 4 Pro last year, Microsoft Xbox One X this year, get that read weird. And Microsoft launched Xbox One X this year, we think we still have a minimum of 2 years in front of us before something new is coming. But that's our perception. We don't have any confidential information on that front, end quote. Guillemot went on to say he likes that Sony and Microsoft are updating their platforms with iterative new consoles in the PS4 Pro and Xbox One X, and believes the new devices will aid in the industry. Quote, we really like the fact that Sony and Microsoft are really putting more power in their machines, using the evolution of technology to give power to our developers to create better games for our players. That is going in the right direction rather than trying to do accessories or other things. That is going to help the industry a lot, because the games will be really beautiful on those machines.
So, first thing, the minimum 2 years away.
That sounds right?
Yeah, I mean, does that sound...
2019? Wait, when these things Was
2013, wasn't that wasn't that when the PS4 and Xbox? I think it was.
That's 6 years. I mean, in a way that 2013. The way that kind of sounds short considering how long the PS3, Xbox 360 generation went, but that was a very long generation.
And that was a big part of that can't be understated was the recession in 2008. That was a big part of why that, like, I honestly think that generation was not supposed to last that long, but you were not going to sell people a like several $100 console in the middle of the recession, you know? So if you look before that, I think it's a lot more common for a console generation to be about 6 years. 6-7 years. So that sounds about right to me. The only thing that obviously throws a wrench in that is just the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One are kind of it sets a new precedent. Like that kind of jump in the mid-cycle jump has not happened before. So does that push it back more? You know, will Microsoft have trouble selling a new console in 2 years when they just sold
another even more powerful one? Like, hey guys, you know that very powerful console you bought 2 years ago
for $500?
Yeah, here's a new one.
Yeah, that's what I feel like. Honestly, it will be a hard sell, especially on the Microsoft side because of how expensive it is and how much of a step up it was. It was like in 2 years, you're really going to offer another one like that? Unless there's...
At least Guillermo said a minimum of 2 years, which I think is the right, 2 years is the soonest.
If you had said if the Pro and X had not come out, I would have said that it's almost guaranteed it's going to be like 2 years would be like, if it goes longer than 2 years, I'd be surprised. Now I'm not completely sure. But.
Okay, Dari, I'm sorry. I got to go to the bathroom.
All right, hello, Jeff.
Hello, Dari. We are back. Is that from you, LaCroix?
That's the first time you had to leave the podcast.
I thought about that. When it was like, this is the first time.
You had a good streak going.
Yeah. Well,
I arguably did the worst thing, and I went to the fridge and got a LaCroix.
Yeah.
He said, I'm just trying to, we're talking about video games, so I have to become a San Francisco hipster douchebag.
Yes.
That's just how this works.
Indeed. So where were we?
So I've done it. I don't know. I looked at NFL scores. I kind of wish no game's playing, so I don't know why I did that.
So we move on to I don't know. Do you know what we need to say about this?
Pretty much. I think he went into that he likes the fact that there's the iterative consoles and stuff. So, I mean, it is one of the biggest developers saying something positive about that. Part of that is because it would look bad if he just came out and said negative things about it. So, who knows? Take it with a grain of salt. But, yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Overall, this was kind of like the announcement of these consoles and everything predated our podcast, and we've talked about it a little bit. But just overall, how do you feel about just broad concept of these
iterative consoles?
And if that is the future, even we're kind of have a toe in that being the future, but they still talk about new other consoles.
I personally don't care for them because we've said before, me and you aren't the biggest power guys. Like, we don't need to have the best specs at all times. Yeah. I mean, obviously, we want things to run well, but we prefer things to be better. But
I'm one of those. I don't think that just because you have a powerful console doesn't mean your games are good. You need to look at Nintendo. Yeah, Nintendo makes great games without the power. So there's the games are more important than the power. The power is just an added bonus.
I have no reason to necessarily wear this because it's just really the first time these shoes have done it. But if this becomes more of a thing, I'm worried we'll get new stuff in quicker succession over time. Yeah, that just makes these more expensive. Or if you don't buy into it, you're just getting worse stuff.
You're left behind. Yeah. It can very quickly just go into the PC realm. Yeah, where you kind of you have to make sure you have the right version of this or that and whatever. And if it just gets too far in that direction, it'd be I'll just get a PC. I'll just suck it up. If consoles don't offer me any more ease of use than the PC, then I might as well just get the PC. Yeah. So overall, it's very interesting with the iterative console and with the Xbox One and Pro. Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro, I could see it going an okay way where it's just these are just if you want these, they're there, but it doesn't really hold you back and everything. And I could also see it going full into like changing the entire console landscape into something unrecognizable. I can see it going either way, really.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, can we move on, Derby?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. I'll just go into it. Niantic Labs, developers of Pokemon Go, announced that they are teaming up with Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment and WB Games San Francisco's development team for their next game, Harry Potter Wizards Unite. Niantic said about the game, players will learn spells, explore their real-world neighborhoods and cities to discover and fight legendary beasts and team up with others to take down their powerful enemies. They said to stay tuned for future updates.
So, Pokemon Go, but for Harry Potter.
Yes. Oh, yeah. And just so people aren't worried, they said they're still completely committed to Pokemon Go.
To the two people who still care.
Hey, Mr. Richardson.
So this thing's gonna sell a lot, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, so, whatever, microtransactions sell, but like downloads a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's arguably like they went to something just as popular as Pokemon, basically.
Yeah, I'm interested to see like if this becomes big of a phenomenon as Pokemon Go. My gut says no,
My gut says no too,
but it will still be extremely popular. People will talk about this.
and I almost say that more of just because Pokemon Go was bigger than I could have ever imagined.
Yeah.
And I just feel like that was kind of lightning in the bottle.
Yeah.
But ideally, now that they have Pokemon Go under their belt, they'll be more prepared for people to download this. So even if it's not as many people who like download it originally, I could see more people sticking around for this game because Niantic might be capable of supporting it better.
Yeah. And they can announce that from the makers of Pokemon Go.
Yeah, which is going to be a big
Like,
one.
hey, you know the guys who made Pokemon Go? They're making a Harry Potter thing.
I mean, this thing needs to be marketed right. I can almost... Did they say anything about timetable for this?
This is a stay tuned for future updates.
I'm calling it right now.
Shadow Drop?
No, or maybe that goes along with what I'm saying, but I'm calling it right now. There's going to be a Super Bowl commercial for this. And it might be download it now.
Yeah.
Or it might be it's coming soon. I think Pokemon Go also has a Super Bowl commercial. I'm almost certain.
That was a general Pokemon commercial.
Okay. I'm calling it. Do you disagree with that? I'll make a bet with you if you want, but if we want to go full easy allies, but
Screw it. Why not?
I don't know what said bet would be because we're not professionals at this. But.
Okay, we're not going to spend too much time doing this, so terms to be named later.
Okay.
And by next podcast, we'll name them.
Okay.
So, to make sure as far as the bet is, you say there is going to be a Super Bowl commercial for this game.
Yeah, just in some way, shape, or form.
Okay, just to make sure. Not going to be Harry Potter in general. It has to be this game.
Yeah.
Okay. And, I'll say no.
All right, but what if it's Harry Potter in general?
If it's Harry Potter in general includes it, that counts.
Okay.
Yeah.
As long as it mentions this game by name.
I just said that because you mentioned that Pokemon commercial.
Right.
Like, that was just Pokemon.
Yeah. If it's just Harry Potter and they don't mention the game, then no. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
All right.
We're shaking.
Okay.
Hands. And our somewhat related story, this comes from Jordan Allman from IGN. Warner Brothers announced that it will be publishing a range of mobile and console Harry Potter titles under a new label, Portkey Games. Revealed in a blog post on the Pottermore website, Portkey Games will feature both new characters and, excitingly, could feature familiar faces at different points in their lives from the Harry Potter stories. President of Warner Bros. Interactive, David Haddad, notes that Portkey Games is working with talented creators and that the games will live alongside the magical universe created by J.K. Rowling. Obviously, this probably includes this Niantic's game, but yeah. So we're getting more Harry Potter games. I think they've said some, console games as well.
Yeah, it's very good for Harry Potter fans. I like Harry Potter, but I've never even finished the books or movies. So.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what kind of games, mobile games, whatever, but on the console, they do.
I feel like you're like, I know you're not like a huge Harry Potter fan, but you're a lot more than me. Like you, at least, didn't you finish the books?
I did.
Yeah. I am like, I don't know, but I imagine at least gamers who like Harry Potter would probably love to have like an RPG type thing. I imagine that would be where your head's going to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mind somewhat went to, partly because this is also one where I was like the Arkham Shadow of War type thing, potentially.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
But something where you have like free reign to walk around Hogwarts and go through all that. Like I would want it to be some type of open world, whether even if it's just Hogwarts and then you go to different sections.
Guys, I mean, Dari, we're missing the obvious. Telltale Harry Potter game.
I was gonna say that, but yeah. They are like focusing down, but that would be one I would take.
Yeah.
That would
Plus,
be one
they've already worked together because Batman. I mean, with Warner Brothers.
I don't know why this is like. You have to bear with me, but like I'm thinking with how many different spells and all kind of crazy stuff are in the Harry Potter universe. Something about that reminds me of Breath of the Wild. And how you can, in Breath of the Wild, there's so many things like, oh, these things work together. Oh, this, that. I would want a Harry Potter game that has that level of just like kind of wonder and like, detail. Where it's like, oh, this works. Or like, you just try something from the movie or some spell and you're like, oh, holy crap, it worked on that. It did that. I'm not saying that it's going to be exactly Breath of the Wild, but I was just saying that kind of reminds me. That struck something in my head.
Part of me, I know there's those Fantastic Beasts movies or whatever, but it's interesting to me that they're doing all this now.
Yeah.
Well after Harry Potter has been done.
Yeah, but I guess it's something like probably by the time any of these games come out, the Harry Potter fan base will be kind of starving for more, and it might be like...
Well, then again, I guess you can say the same about the Shadow of games.
Yeah, because Lord of the Rings was so long ago, and there's no movies coming out right now.
Yeah.
At least aren't there gonna be more Fantastic Beasts movies or more some sort of Harry Potter movies coming out, right? Yeah,
I think they're doing Fantastic Beasts 2 soon.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe as far as I know, that could be already out.
I don't think it is, but I don't pay attention to this.
Fact checked.
I'm almost certain it's not because I feel like I have friends on Facebook who would have made me know that by just.
November of next year.
Okay. And wasn't that just last year, or was that 2 years ago?
Uh-huh.
The first one came out. I don't know. We don't.
Last year sounds right. 2 years. Like it'd be 2 years in between the movies. That sounds right.
Yeah. I don't think it came out the same time as Force Awakens. So I think that was last year.
I mean, yeah. I guess that's a good alternating thing from year to year.
Star Wars, Harry Potter. Star Wars, Harry Potter.
Well, mainline Star Wars, Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Because we had Rogue One.
And then Marvel all over the place.
Wherever they feel like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I mean, let's be honest. Marvel could just like shadow drop an Iron Man movie tomorrow, and it would sell millions and stuff.
Yeah. I'm surprised Thor probably did better than Spider-Man. It's weird.
Did it, or is
apparently first weekend? I think
it might just be because of time period it's coming out in, but that seems kind of sad.
But I feel like more people are down on. That's tough for. Getting off topic. Okay, moving on. Okay, we now.
Bringing it back.
Yep.
In Just Cast.
Maybe for the final time? Because okay, yeah. So if you don't know, they announced the last DLC characters for the 9, or I guess 10 kind of dark side DLC characters. They said they were planning on doing
for Injustice 2. If you didn't gather what Just Cast was,
yeah. And in the showed a new trailer at the Injustice World Championship or whatever.
Yeah, and I'll just say. If somehow you don't know the characters that are in there, stop listening to this podcast. Go watch that trailer and like try not to see anything.
It's the main one we're talking about, the thumbnail.
If you can manage it, try to see it without knowing.
Yeah. Obviously,
if you've seen it, then yeah. So
anyway. Okay. So first character shown in the Atom. No surprise, they already announced them.
Yeah, we already know.
And they should then point to it. Early access for people who got the Ultimate Edition starts December 12th. So that's cool. Exactly a month from today, we'll be playing as the Atom.
Awesome.
And second character, no surprise for people who've been paying attention, Enchantress from Suicide Squad. Yep. Now, I hate... It's weird. Suicide Squad sucks.
Use your words. Oh, yeah. Yes, it does.
And I like the design for Enchantress and Gayford. We saw a lot more of the design from the movie.
I do too.
Yeah.
I like the design
a lot. I think I was trying to say, like, I'm hoping people...
give her a chance, not shut it down.
Yeah, because Enchantress would be cool otherwise.
Yeah.
I assume that was somewhat movie time.
I mean, like... I don't think anyone's out there saying the Joker is a terrible character because of Suicide Squad. It's just
the difference is though. Yeah, most people only know her from Suicide Squad.
Yeah. I would say just anyone out there, do not hold any of the Suicide Squad characters. Don't hold them down because of that movie, because that movie is just terrible.
I wonder if Enchantress was picked
before,
or if Suicide Squad, or it's just because they've already taken out most of the magic people, women, because they've already used Raven and Zatanna.
Yeah.
So she's the next one up. As far as people like name recognition at this point, I think.
Right.
Unless I'm really forgetting someone.
You mean they have Captain Boomerang they haven't used, Jeff. Everyone's favorite.
You're right. I wish.
Yeah, he was so great in the movie. So.
Yeah. Okay, so the final character for Injustice 2 potentially is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Hell yeah. That trailer was so hype where it just like goes over and whips off the trench coat. They all show
Everyone's
up.
like, what?
If you haven't, go watch reaction videos because they were so great.
Yeah.
It's interesting because we don't know exactly how this is going to work. It kind of, the way they like framed the trailer and everything, it just kind of looks like the four of them collective are one character.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's going to be like different moves you do, they like different ones jump in, or if it's like a stance that you go into for each of them. But it looks like it's not going to be skins. It's going to be
because skins wouldn't make sense because they have a lot of different weapons. Yeah. And if they can't use their weapons, that just makes their moveset very, very generic.
Yeah. So that's this announcement was awesome, and I'm also now eagerly awaiting gameplay to see like how they're gonna.
Odds are, they're gonna be the last character.
Yeah.
Because I think this is probably that means we'll probably get them in February, which is in time for fighters. Dragon Ball Fighters. A lot of fighting game hype.
Will be another resurgence of us playing fighting games. When Injustice 2 first came out, we were playing it every night.
Now, for people who've been listening to this, I always want to say, I'm not exactly being a hypocrite about my guest character things.
you acknowledge that.
Well, I was okay with Hellboy. Yeah. It's just, I don't like the Mortal Kombat characters. The most problem I have with Hellboy and the Turtles at this point is the fact that 40% of the DLC characters are guest characters. So
it's perfectly fine if your answer is just cause. But what is the argument that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I cannot talk today, are better for Injustice than putting Mortal Kombat characters in there. You have to defend yourself. You had the floor to defend
yourself. For one thing, makes it more interesting. For me personally, this is something these guys haven't really been in a fighting game. I guess there's I think a SNES one, so that just makes it more interesting right off the bat. Secondly, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, if people don't know, originated in comics. Right. So that makes them better in my eyes right away. Yeah. For this, and also, as far as connection to DC, there's a crossover comic from Batman they have recently that's apparently very good. I actually want to read that. Yeah. So that's my main argument.
They do feel more in the comic book. If we're just gonna view Injustice 2, if it's not gonna be just purely DC fighter, which it obviously already isn't. Yeah. If we just look at it as like a love letter to comic books and like that kind of community, then that makes more sense. Then.
Which is again why I've been okay with Hellboy and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because they normally non-fighting games and they're comic book characters at least.
And I for the record, I agree with you. I just like poking fun at you about that.
This is my favorite DLC character.
My big argument would be that Sub-Zero and Raiden, we're gonna see them again in the next Mortal Kombat. They're gonna be there. We've seen them 1,000 times. We're gonna see them again.
Exactly. They're boring choices. We play them in this kind of fighting system.
It's not every game that you get to play as Hellboy or TMNT. So I agree with you.
We could.
This is the most I have probably more ties because of my childhood to the Turtles than almost anyone on the Injustice roster besides Batman and stuff.
Alright, we can use the Turtles to fight Hellboy.
It's gonna be awesome. I could see this being a big thing to bring a lot of a mass flux of people back into Injustice 2.
Some of the comments
there's going to be people who haven't touched it or even haven't bought the game who get it.
Oh yeah, I saw some people say, "Well, I guess I'm buying Injustice 2 now," and some people are like, "Well, I guess I'm rebuying Injustice 2."
Right. Yeah. It's gonna be big.
Yeah. Also, I guess for the record, I haven't said this is my favorite DLC pack.
I think it's objectively the
Like,
best one.
Enchantress
Adam's going to be so interesting. Like, to see
Adam's
what
one of the
they
ones
do.
I wanted anyway.
Yeah.
And like the trailer from his hype and the turtles. Come on, man.
Dude,
There are some people that are very upset.
Well, you know what? I stand for fun, Jeff.
Yes.
Nerds at Large stands for fun.
Yes.
I do kind of feel bad for Enchantress though, because she's just kind of the afterthought of this.
Yeah.
Of this
But I'm excited for her. She'll probably have a really cool moveset.
yeah.
Okay, so let's move on. Okay, this is going to be a short and sweet story. Hulu is on Switch when Netflix.
Yep. It was there was really no
Shadow drop.
Yeah, no fanfare about it. I don't think Nintendo has really even commented on it. It's just like suddenly Hulu.
Yeah, one I don't use.
All right, so I've heard like different people have these conversations. Does the streaming apps or anything, do you really care about them on Switch?
No.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. If they're on it, cool. I might use it.
Right. But it's not like something, like, do you see yourself really even using them on the Switch?
Potentially, just depending, like, if I just feel like more laying in bed and watching something, I prefer the Switch to my phone.
Yeah.
For instance, or if I'm out and about and a place with Wi-Fi, potentially.
I can see
It's a very particular thing. Again, like Netflix, like these streaming services were the last thing on my mind.
Yeah, I can see. I see it being very rare that I would ever use it, especially since the Switch doesn't have the best battery life. It's like you would probably just plug in your laptop or something and do that if you're gonna watch Netflix or do something like that. But I do think that these type of things, even if not many people use them, it makes the Switch look better and look more of like a legitimate platform to just the casual, normal people when it has the full suite of options and it has all these things. Well, you know what I mean? Like, it just looks better for the Switch.
Yeah, I will say this, and this was more of a thing like when Switch first announced and they were like, hey, this stuff is coming later. And there were people that were upset like, yeah, I use my console for this stuff all the time, and I was going to use this. They were going to use the Switch to replace their
PS4 and stuff.
Yeah, for as far as that, or in the Wii U and stuff, and even some people for their tablets.
Yeah.
If this had Netflix and stuff.
I kind of like that the Switch is just my gaming thing, but it's also just like it wouldn't.
That's one of those things. It wouldn't
be a very good tablet if it was. It's
just but if people only use really tablets for like some internet and some streaming stuff, it's like, why get a tablet when you have the Switch?
Yeah, and it's another thing that for me I wouldn't care, but for the average person it looks better.
Yeah.
But from just a gamer perspective, and from my perspective, it doesn't really sell me either way. I'm like, whatever. Like, to me, I'm just going to play games on it. To me, like, I have a Switch, and I have it on the dock and everything, but like, I think even if my Switch had Netflix, I still just... PS4 is my go-to thing to watch Netflix
No, it's a funny thing that might sell people more in this. I have heard impressions about this. Apparently pretty good, like, as far as the quality and stuff. But some people are talking about, they're on TV, they're watching on the TV and stuff. They go to the bathroom. Undock it, take it with you.
Never mind, Jeff.
Seamless.
Never mind. It's perfect.
Biggest selling point.
I can take Stranger Things to the toilet. Are you kidding me?
Yep.
I did watch the first episode.
Oh. I've not watched any. I have no idea when I'm going to get to that.
I need to put down Zelda long enough to watch it so that I can.
Now here's what sucks. Stranger Things is a high priority, but The Punisher comes out this weekend.
I mean,
I know that doesn't matter to you.
Yeah. Even if I had Stranger Things as a higher priority to me.
That's just more things.
Well, also, and even if you like The Punisher better, Stranger Things should probably be a higher priority for you because we're getting very close to the time period where people are going to be like, everyone's seen it anyway. I can spoil it,
I'm not going to be able to this week, but Mitchell said during Thanksgiving I might have like 10 days off in a row. So I'll probably end up watching it then. Okay, ready to move on, Darby?
Yep.
Okay, we're bringing sales time back.
Sales time. No catchy name yet.
Yep. Okay, first thing. Grand Theft Auto 5 has shipped 85 million copies.
Whew!
And it will not stop. Can't stop, won't stop.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Yep. Okay, this next good little bit is from Ubisoft Financial Report. Ubisoft's revenue is now over 50% digital, with a 69% increase in digital revenue over the previous year.
Yeah. We knew it was a lot, but
we have data.
It's like half digital.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. And back catalog gains for Ubisoft, meaning games released before this fiscal year or March, is over 40% of Ubisoft's revenue.
Okay.
So
I
think this will also count, though, For Honor and Ghost Recon, I believe.
Okay.
So people know.
That's why Ghost Recon was the top selling game for some
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. And next thing, for quarter 2 of this fiscal year, 31% of sales were on PS4, 20% on Xbox One, 15% on PC, 19% on Switch, and 2% on last-gen consoles. Maybe the reason I found this interesting is how high Switch is.
I was about to say, that's pretty darn high for Switch.
Yeah, and also important to note, Wii U apparently only capped at 2%.
So wait, what is Q2? Wait, do you know
Q2
what
for the time frame would be, let's see, start April. It'd be from July through September, I believe.
So if you think
it'd be Mario plus Rabbids time.
Yeah, but I'm thinking about what that would include for Xbox. It's like the same. It's almost the same as Xbox.
Yeah.
That even includes Destiny, right? Oh wait, this is Ubisoft. Yeah, sorry. Wait, then what did Ubisoft have? I guess they didn't have much. I don't know why. That was a brain fart for me. Anyway, it's interesting that it's like on par with Xbox.
But again, Wii U apparently only capped at 2%. And so because it's increased, for Nintendo's console, Guillemot said there will be more games from Ubisoft on the Switch.
Yeah.
But finally, a lot has to do with Mario plus Rabbids, and
right.
I agree with your point. I can't think of much of anything that really came out, but at the same time, you got to think the amount of other games that are on those consoles and how many more consoles are out there.
And how many more, like, if you think this is just their sales total for that Q2.
Yeah.
So you think, like, back catalog, they have so many more games on Xbox than they have on Switch, but it's still managed.
Like Ubisoft games, and I might be missing some, are like Just Dance, Rayman.
Right.
And I don't even know if Rayman's come out or when it came out, and Mario plus Rabbids. I mean, the bulk of that's from Mario plus Rabbids. But apparently, also in there, they said Just Dance is killing on the Switch, and that's like the most have sold on the Switch than the other consoles. So, it's interesting. Also, final thing from Ubisoft, the first 10-day sales for Assassin's Creed Origins is double that of Syndicate's first 10-day sales.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It kind of makes sense because there's more hype around this game. People were kind of tired at the same point, but that's still interesting.
And I think that year off helped.
Yeah.
I think it really helped a lot. I've seen people, like a decent range of reactions to Origins, but some people, like, love this game. To an extent that I never really thought it would have reached. So it's good.
Good to see. Yeah, I'm very interested to see because I'm not an Assassin's Creed guy. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not gonna play this game. Probably.
I'm probably not either. Yeah.
But it's interesting. Some people like talk about how much this has changed Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Like how many changes, and there's some people say, it's more of the same.
That's I've heard such a range of.
It's very interesting.
Like, it was so weird. I would listen to like one podcast. Someone's like, it's all right, but it's not grabbing me, and it's kind of more Assassin's Creed. I go to someone else, and they're like, this is like in my game of the year discussion. This is this open world is insane.
Okay, get ready for us to plug someone else's podcast real quick. Kind of Funny Games Daily. I think it's pretty much Andrew Renee was like, this open world better than Zelda's. And then Greg's like, I played it for 30 minutes. I'm like,
Yeah. Well, and I think I had literally just listened to... God, we gotta stop. I'm about to plug another podcast. I was just listening to Kotaku Split Screen. Like, one of them was saying, like, really negative things about it, and I go to Kind of Funny and better than Zelda, which... I haven't played Assassin's Creed, so my opinion is not fully formed, but that seems like blasphemy to me.
And just so people know, for the Ubisoft thing and the upcoming Capcom sales, I'm pretty sure all this stuff is just through September, for the most part. Well, obviously Assassin's Creed includes October, but for the most part, I think the Capcom release goes through September. So starting with the Capcom stuff. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite has sold 900,000 copies. So I'd say it's probably over 1 million at this point.
Yeah.
Maybe? Not bad.
That was just in September. Yeah.
And I might be wrong about the September thing, so I apologize.
I'd be interested. I wonder how much did old NPC games sell because like it was a big deal at one point. So I just
Yeah.
wonder how that compares.
Try to fill time real quick, or let's try.
I mean, over 1 million is good. Like
Yeah.
I'm kind of like I have not heard a single thing about this game since it released, which I don't know if that's just the circles I'm in or if that's indicative of like more of a problem.
Apparently 1.2 million.
For which one?
Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Oh, okay. Well, I would have thought they'd.
But I don't know if that includes Ultimate.
Yeah.
Oh.
Even still, I mean,
Yeah.
like.
Also, there's interesting rumors about a giant Reddit rumor leak thing about a lot of games that included a lot of Marvel vs. Capcom plans, them adding a lot of characters. Some ones people will enjoy. I'm not going to go into it because it could be fake, but I think this person leaked Ninja Turtles for Injustice.
Really?
So I'm like, you have my attention.
Okay.
Because who could guess that?
Exactly, yeah.
So yeah. He also said some Dragon Ball FighterZ news that I hope is not true. I hope he's wrong. But moving on. Okay. I think
Resident Evil, right?
Yeah, Resident Evil sold over 4 million copies, making it one of the top 10 selling Capcom games ever. Did we talk about it last week?
We might have. I think we did talk something about Resident Evil.
Okay, that might have been.
Did they still consider it a failure? Because they did say that they came out.
Yeah.
I remember around when it came out, it was like it sold several million copies, and Capcom's like, yeah, it was disappointing to us.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, that's very interesting because Resident Evil came out at the very beginning of the year, and then everything else came out really soon after it. That like Zelda and stuff.
Yeah, the big load of games.
I felt like the talk died really quick, and we forget it came out this year.
A lot of people.
I feel bad for
a
it.
lot of people are like, "Oh yeah, that was this year." You know, there's a lot of that
But
talk.
it's apparently sold really well. And top 10 selling Capcom game ever.
Surprising, yeah. That's big. I mean,
Yeah.
Capcom has been putting out games a long time, so that's saying something.
I can't imagine they're so upset about this, right? Unless Capcom being Capcom and they're
I don't know what their
and what they
expectations
wanted.
were,
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I can think is this game might have went through development hell and cost them so much money that they needed more than that. But still, then you can't really. You can't really hold that against it. Like if you just look at the sales, like they're good.
I think it sold a good bit less than 5 and 6, but those are whole different things.
Yeah, but I feel like the critical reception is obviously better.
Yeah.
They're going to care more about the sales, but I think now with Resident Evil 7, they have people's attention like they didn't anymore.
Yeah.
Like Resident Evil had become a dead name. It was a franchise that was dead pretty much, and no one really was even thinking about. And now, once they come out with another Resident Evil thing, they're gonna have people's attention.
Yeah.
So
Can I just be happy? This is the most positive thing anyone talked about Capcom in a long time.
I know. Take what you can get.
Then they release Marvel's Capcom Infinite, and then it just go back to Capcom. Okay, final thing. This is the funny thing. They consider Ultimate Street Fighter 2 the final challengers a smash hit. The words.
Is that the Switch thing?
That's the Switch thing. I just found that funny.
Smash hit.
Yeah. Who bought that thing? I think it's all over 1 million.
I think it did.
Why?
People love Street Fighter 2, man.
I know, but it's $40. It was like 20 or something or lower. I could understand it, but
Yeah.
people were really feeling that.
The Switch fever.
Yeah, or that Switch drought at the beginning or whatever.
Yeah.
Like a games thing.
It just, when there's only like 6 games on the thing, it's like, yeah, sure.
Now everyone's like, well,
Yeah,
what can I do with all these games?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the end of all the sales stuff. We'll see next week if the trend of all these sales news continues.
Yeah. All right, well, let's transition into our main topic,
Okay.
which is PSX.
Yeah.
We talked
I
about...
guess we're cutting the Jason thing again, or...
Yeah, we don't have enough time
Okay.
that I would feel comfortable about. I'm sorry, Jason. We'll get to you eventually.
Does it matter to call it now unless something comes up topic for next week?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Sneak preview.
All right, but I just wanted to talk. Last week we talked obviously a lot about Paris Games Week.
Yes.
For a long time. And we like hinted at like PSX and what like this could mean. You know, like the fact that Paris Game Week was like way bigger than any of us expected.
Yeah.
And what this means for PSX. And they've basically at this point said like we know PSX is happening on December 8th.
Yep. Okay.
At 8 p.m. or whatever.
I got some information here. There's just gonna be a story, but we said main topic. Sony announced that their PSX conference will happen on December 8th at 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern time. That's late.
It is late. Very late.
And Sony's not considering this a showcase like previous years, but there will be game updates, so don't expect a bunch of crazy announcements.
Right.
Pretty much what they're saying. And they said Ghost of Tsushima and Dreams will be at PSX.
Yeah. So it's obvious.
There goes some of my bets.
It's obvious that it's not going to be like your traditional like PSX. It's never as big as like the E3 thing, but they usually have like a E3 style showing. It's obviously a little more casual and a little more just like, you know, for the PlayStation fans, like Gio Corsi out there with a Vita, you know, things like that they would never do at another show. But you knew if you were going to PSX or watching PSX or anything, you were getting something at least a little substantial. Like they would throw in The Last of Us Part 2 being revealed there and that kind of stuff. Just, you know.
I know that was last week, but wasn't Ni no Kuni 2 announced there?
I'm almost certain, yeah.
Okay.
I think so. That kind of stuff peppered in there. But, I mean, for number one, they're actively saying they're not considering a show. Like, they're downplaying this event. And Paris Games Week, they were pumping up. Like, bigger than it maybe should have been, but they were pumping that up as like the second half of E3. So I guess my question is, is this smart? Is it smart to put all that effort into the Paris Games Week type thing instead of your own show that your like hardcore fans are going to? Because I can see goods and bads of both, but
yeah. Hard to say. In a way, as someone who's not going to PSX, to me, I guess it technically doesn't matter which one this stuff's at. The announcements, because they're going to be announced either way.
That is true.
Stuff's going to be shown here. But at the same time, what I'm sure you were planning on getting to is the fact there are people who bought PSX tickets who were expecting this conference to be what it has been.
Because of what it has been like the past 2 years.
The stuff that they have... the precedent they have set.
And they're understandably worried that, like, well, what did I buy a ticket for then?
But at the same time, PSX, a lot of it is going to the game floor and playing stuff.
Yeah.
And trying stuff out and going to panels and stuff. And, hey, you know, Ghost of Tsushima wasn't announced at PSX, but this is most likely going to be the first time we might, like, see, like, gameplay.
Right. And they could use PSX as kind of the extended version of what you saw at Paris Games Week. So I mean, it could use, because they're so close together, if they use it like that, like if there is, you know, you saw God of War there or whatever. Now, if you're at PSX, play this demo. You can play the demo you saw at E3 or at
and again, they said there will be game updates. We could still, like we talked about last week, there could be a God of War date here. People be like, playable demo.
And if there's playable demo, obviously media might play that, and we'll end up seeing gameplay for games, even if it's not on a showcase floor. It'll trickle down to the IGN.
Yeah, and again, I'm sure we'll hear more about we'll see some more of the games we saw in Italy and Paris Games Week, and Ghost of Tsushima stuff, Dream stuff, finally. Yeah. So nothing is going to happen here. I mean, honestly, other than, I guess, seeing some of the smaller games up on the, that screen, the presentation, I feel like there's not going to be too much different because, Last of Us 2 was announced last year.
Right.
But not too many big crazy things usually are. I mean, Ghost of Tsushima would have been here, I assume, when the Paris Games Week, but again, like I said, we'd be getting it anyway a month apart.
Also, the other reason I could see for them doing it this way, like differently this year and doing it this way, is the fact that isn't PSX like literally the day after the Game Awards?
That too.
Yeah. So like maybe they want to separate those a little bit more. Like maybe they don't want because I imagine the Game Awards usually has a few big announcements, and the Game Awards just seems to be getting bigger and bigger each year.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the exact same.
It might not be Sony related, but they might not want to be in that mix of buzz. It's harder to compete for people's attention when everyone's still talking about whatever happened at Game Awards.
Yeah. And Sony could announce something at the Game Awards instead, like if they have another big thing. It's a little different, but when what was the Game Awards on Spike or whatever, Last of Us was announced there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying we'd ever get something that big at this point.
And there was even like the Phantom Pain.
Yeah.
Like we didn't know it was Phantom Pain, or we didn't know it was Metal Gear or whatever it was, but it was the
Death Stranding.
Death Stranding
shown there,
trailer.
which is they were showed there last year. That's a Sony.
Which
thing.
I think even Guillermo del Toro said that Kojima told him that in the next few weeks he was going to see gameplay. Like Guillermo del Toro was going to see it, not the public. We don't know when the public will see it.
I mean, we could, but
it obviously exists out there. So maybe by the time, maybe that's gearing up for games.
Book it.
I mean, E3 probably definitely, but could be a little, especially just the Jeff Keighley love affair with Kojima. Could see maybe something there. So I mean, like, as a whole, like, obviously, again, it doesn't really matter that much to us because we're not going to PSX.
Yeah.
But I do hope that for the people that are going, I hope that they keep PSX alive because, like, I hope that this isn't a sign of PSX downsizing to the point where they're trying to, like, basically end it or anything like that. Because, like, I like the fact that Sony has an event like that for PlayStation fans, and that people can go to and stuff. People, like, from what I've heard from like pretty much every major media site, everyone says that PSX is like one of their favorite events because it's kind of low stress. It's not like a Comic-Con or E3 with all this crazy stuff. It's just like a smaller group of dedicated people, and everyone's just there to have fun and like celebrate.
I mean, again, people still have the same experience is that we're minusing a press conference with a couple bigger announcements.
Yeah.
I think there's not going to be that much of a difference.
Yeah.
Overall, if you're going,
they might just be gearing up PSX to be something different. Like it was something that had all these gameplay things, but for the public, it was like you had these game announcements and the stuff. They might be focusing more on let's entertain the people here and less about other people watching.
This could have been the long-term plan. Like, okay, we'll use the conference to build up PSX, but then at some point we'll just make it more about the actual event, in the stadium instead of the press conference.
And they obviously have some sort of deal with Paris Games Week because they've pulled out of Gamescom for several years now, almost completely out of Gamescom. And I don't think they had one last year, but at least in 2015 they had a Paris Games Week showing, and this year was obviously even more. So they're like obviously kind of like tying the rope to that. And the other side of it is E3 in America, Comic-Con in America, all these other things in America. If they go to Paris Games Week, that's something they can go to Europe, and Europe gets one of these. Like gets a big event like this.
I tell some people say that it's like, you guys are all complaining, but you Americans get everything. Let us, for most of them, I'm like, it doesn't make any difference to me. Again, this is 1 month apart and anything, and not like I'm going to this stuff anyway. So I'm like, whatever.
I mean that's a fair point. They to give the European listeners something more. And like I feel like Paris Games Week is kind of a better date to get these things than Gamescom because Gamescom is, in the grand scheme of things, not too long after E3, so this is a lot more.
Actually, wait, I'm gonna put my business cap on real quick. As far as doing Paris Games Week over PSX and stuff, Paris Games Week, they're showing off some brand new stuff, is right before Black Friday. Instead of after.
That is also true.
If you show some stuff that makes people over the edge as far as getting a PS4, that's the perfect time they take advantage of those deals.
There's not too many things that they could show that's coming out before Black Friday, but even just getting
no. I'm just saying, like example, Ghost of
brand.
Tsushima, selling people on Detroit and stuff.
Yeah.
Selling people on the games some of the games they've already announced that make people over the edge and be like, okay, or the post-conference hype, like, I really want this. Ooh, Black Friday.
Yeah, and anything that promotes the Sony brand, like even if they're talking about future games, it's something that would, could push people.
Yeah.
Or people might, if they don't have a PS4, go buy a Pro or something. That's Black Friday. Yeah.
Nah, I don't think there's anything like doom and gloom for Sony. I understand it, especially thinking and talking about more like from a business standpoint. I think
it's worth talking it out because it's just it's
again, and
it's
stuff is going to be shown here. You just can't expect like crazy new games.
Yeah.
Which again, Ghost of Tsushima would have been shown there if it wasn't for them doing what they did at Paris Games Week.
It was obvious that whatever event they were going to put their cards on, it was going to have Ghost of Tsushima here. That was clear.
Hey, and if it means we get to see gameplay at PSX, I don't. Whatever.
If we get to see gameplay for that already, which I'm guessing we will because they're saying it's going to be there. I'm like, don't know what else, unless it's just some big story thing, which could also be cool. I want to see both of those. But
I feel like we got to see some gameplay. Can have another story trailer, or have that as well.
I mean, even the trailer we saw at Paris Games Week was barely even a story trailer. It was more just a teaser. It was It was a tone piece almost, and that's why I'm trying to hold back my excitement a little bit for it because we just don't know what it is yet.
I want to see what Dreams is now.
Oh, I'm so morbidly curious. We'll probably do more on that on our whatever prediction episode. Jeff's cooking up some ideas for stuff, so I'm sure we'll be talking about Dreams.
Yep.
We'll have to bring Will on after we see Dreams to see what he thinks about it because he was very, very not interested in Dreams. So I'm interested.
Yeah. We should see if he wants to watch the little showcase conference thing with us.
Yes, we should.
Yes.
All right, Jeff. Do you have any closing thoughts?
Nope. I don't think I have anything.
Anything else you want to reiterate on this podcast? Share your Twitter handle. Promote one Easy Lives video.
Okay. Actually, one I kind of want to show you. After this, I'll show you.
We're not promoting them anymore. They've got enough free advertising in this podcast.
They're going to come up again.
They probably are. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening to this. Make sure you check out all of our stuff on YouTube that we're starting to finally post more things on. So it's becoming more of an active channel.
New Let's Play this week. Maybe not. I don't know. It's late now.
Yeah, I probably need to do schoolwork. So probably, I do have one that I need to edit up, so we do have that.
So
I might have that one this week, depending on how much free time I get. So
remember, you can split it into 2 parts.
I'm planning to, but I still have to go through it. And it's going to require more editing than the Injustice one because there was a good bit of silence because we don't know what we're doing yet. Yeah, but we're getting there.
Yep.
So thank you guys.
Yep. Thank you very much.